Thank you for listening. A list of content warnings can be found in the episode description. Take care. Enjoy the show. Planescape Torment, the Unofficial audio series. A narrative let's play adapted and produced by RevocerGM. Combining in-game audio with additional voice acting through dialogue and descriptions to improve your listening experience. Rediscover the amazing story of the 1999 cult classic isometric video game, Planescape Torment, like you've never heard before. Emerging from the falling rubble, the four of you tumble out onto a narrow street. It is dark and cramped as you are used to, but the acrid tang to which you have also become accustomed has a new depth to it. You can almost chew it, it's so thick. You brush off the last of the debris, expecting the cloud about you to disperse, and realize the entire street is filled with the roiling smog. A billowing morass of ash and dust, tinged orange by the swirling of ever-present embers. Covering your mouth, you push down the winding corridor, pressing into doorways, hoping for some respite lest your lungs scorch from the burning fog, and eventually find the glowing entrance of an inn. Hanging above the doorframe is the crudely carved sign of a horse, daubed in greasy red paint and chipped with all manner of gashes and scars. Inside, the atmosphere is predictably boisterous, the furniture already being pushed to the sides in anticipation of a fight. As you squeeze through towards the bar, you approach an elven woman bouncing gleefully upon her stool. There's a revelry about her that catches you off guard, and the garish opulence of her attire is wildly discordant with the surroundings. Greetings. She shoots you a glance before returning her gaze to three hulking bodies huddled in the corner, her aquiline pupils narrowing eagerly.
Is there something you want?
I was just wondering what was going on here. She flashes a wicked smile and swivels to face you.
Well, normally, nothing. Were it not for the fight, I wouldn't be caught dead here again.
A fight?
Yes!
Leaning in, she places her arm over your shoulder and pivots you towards the three gargantuan figures.
See the three Thakola over there? They're going to try to kill an Abishai. The stupid oafs.
She releases her grasp and clasps her hand across her knees. Her movements are all accentuated with a certain vibrancy. Well, they look like they can take care of themselves.
Normally, I would say yes. Thakola are very powerful warriors. However, I know something they don't. Abishai can only be hurt by magic. The Thakola will be slaughtered, have no doubt about it.
She straightens up, attempting to compose herself. How do you know they can only be hurt by magic?
Do you think I lie?
She pierces you with a frightful glare. No.
Good.
Her gaze softens again, and she smiles. Why don't you warn the Thakola?
Why should I do that? I'm the one who suggested the fight.
Why?
On occasion, my darling husband tries to better his social standing with his underlings by drinking with them in the local taverns. Last evening, I accompanied him here on such an occasion. Those three oafs were also here, boasting of their prowess as warriors. It was obvious they were in a drunken stupor. When they decided to leave, one of them tripped and fell into the table I was sitting at.
Go on.
Most of the drinks at the table spilled into my lap and ruined my attire. So, while the cretin was trying to apologize, I whispered to him that I only accepted the apology of a warrior of stature. If he were truly such a warrior, he'd be able to defeat an Abishai in hand-to-hand combat.
You're going to get them killed because they ruined a dress.
You obviously don't understand the intricacies behind this situation. let me explain.
She gives you a sympathetic pat on the shoulder.
I was embarrassed and humiliated in front of my sweet darling and his underlings, and they should be punished.
Her eyes flare, and her mouth widens in an uncanny grin.
Now you understand.
I must be gone now. Farewell. A little unnerved, you sidle away and catch the eye of an older man in dusty clothes. He gives you a knowing smirk as he raises his eyebrows at you, then glugs from his battered tankard.
He'll pay her no mind, Cutter. Fights here as common as sunflies, but scarcely do we let him add pages to the dead book. Name's Cor. Greetings.
He holds out a calloused palm for you to shake. While definitely strong, this man does not appear to be in the best of health. His skin is pale yellow, and you see pustules speckled along his arms. Greetings.
So, what brings you to the lower ward? You not find enough trouble in the hive? You're more scarred than me.
Yeah, I can't seem to avoid it these days.
Yeah, well, if you dress like you're gonna tear the place up, no wonder. It seems you keen on telling all Sigil you wear shivs like an Adiog wears stank. Yeah. In my day, I was a pretty good warrior myself.
He pauses and sighs into his ale.
Well, them days is over, but I still know a trick or two.
With a wink, his wry chuckle descends into a fit of hacking coughs. When it settles, he wipes his mouth with a grubby rag. Are you all right?
Oh, nothing a few years of death won't cure. Yeah, air's been getting worse in the water late. But I reckon it should level out once the great foundry settles, or a wind blows through from the spire.
What is with the air here?
Oh, it's mostly 'cause of all the portals.
What do you mean?
Well, lots of doors to the lower planes here, letting in the bad air and fumes and such from who knows what layer of the abyss. That's why this here's the lower ward. Yeah. I joined through here's like breathing in a meal. Salt, smoke, pipeweed. It's all yellow blankets of stinging sulfurous gas that this ward spits out.
He gives you a gap-toothed smile.
Yeah, pretty, eh?
Yeah. You mentioned the foundry.
Center of the ward, pretty much. Look for the stacks. Them godsmen make a bunch of things out of iron. Nothing fancy, but they work. Add to the bad air, too.
Godsmen.
Well, the believers have their kit up in the great foundry, banging and singing and chanting their barmy silliness on being powers in the next 10 upon a bunch of other 10 lifetimes.
He rolls his eyes, then spits a brown mass from his mouth.
All they do is suffer and slave and work. I slave twice as hard, and no way am I going to be any sort of power. You understand me, Burke?
You said something about the winds earlier.
Yeah. Well, at times, wind blow in from Sigil's spire, drive the smog out for a while. Though what with the tower belching out even more of the damnable fumes, the clear days never last long.
What's the tower? He begins to laugh, but it quickly breaks into another bout of coughing.
Well, one of the more damnable mysteries of this ward. Here tell it simply dumped itself in Sigil one day many years ago. Well, no idea where it came from, how it got there, or how to get in the damn thing. It just takes up space and looks like a site. All them acid burns, weapon scars. It looks like it's seen a few hundred wars, it does.
Good to know. Behind the bar, you see a florid, energetic man with rodentine features. He's shouting and carrying on like a war is about to come through. Like he's got something lodged in his intestines. Like he's too excited about something to talk in a normal tone of voice. His rapid-fire delivery makes it difficult to understand him, but he works through the patrons with masterful speed. As he approaches your section of the bar, swinging a dish rag over his shoulder, you feel a sudden pressure to know why you're here and what you'd like to order, and realize you haven't put a thought yet to either.
Who's next? You, sir, you there. You look like you could use something. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but give me time, and I'll have it figured out on the spot. Beer, rum, fodder. You need rooms? I got rooms. You need supplies? I got supplies.
Supplies? What do you mean?
Well, anything you want, friend. Time and words of money, so keep it snappy.
I thought this was a bar.
A bar?
He makes a pantomime of mock horror.
This is an emporium of services. I am Giltspur, the innkeep, upkeep, landlord, sea lord, outlaw, overclaw, auctioneer, privateer, and yes, barkeep, at your service. I buy or sell, I provide employment, enjoyment, desperation, respiration, entertainment, containment, protection, salvation, and salutation. What is it that I can do for you?
How about some drinks and a room?
Let's get you sorted.
You are surprised to find that this emporium is quite well stocked with a variety of alcoholic beverages, even serving Dakon's favorite mint wine. But you are perhaps more surprised that Anna's drink of choice happens to be a bright red cocktail of blood orange and whiskey, garnished with a wreath of razorvine. Something apparently called a hardhead, for how it resembles the spiked armor of the Harmonium Guard.
Alrighty, almighty, let's dress you down and tot you up. That comes to 37 copper and a single gold piece.
He slaps his hand, palm up, upon the bar, just as you realize most of the coin you had acquired over the last week, along with much of your gear and weaponry, was lost in the waters of the drowned nations.
Wait, just a moment. Any of you have any spare coin?
Oh, sure. Just let me check my pocket.
Oh, wait, that's right. No legs.
Hey, don't look at me.
I think I have a little.
Dakon digs about for some old tarnished copper in his bag, but there's not nearly enough.
Well, I can take the cost of the rooms, but can't as likely pull the drinks back into the pump now, can I? So, what are we going to do?
Wait, hold on. You said employment. Is there anything we can help with to cover the costs?
Well, that might be all well and good, but how do I know you'll hold true to your word? I'll hold open your tab for the rest of the night. Plenty of bloods in here willing to straighten the ad out, if you know what I mean.
Not exactly.
All right. You seem a square enough bunch. Tell you what, the drinks are on me if you can do us all a favor.
Sure. What do you need?
As I know you've learned from my Feywild friend over there, we've got a fight on the cards. Nothing surprising, but I'm worried this one will go too far. Normally we can halt things before they get too deadly, but the Kola are a pretty prideful lot, and devils are wicked cruel. As fun as it might be to see a Beatorian bloodbath, someone has to clean up the mess, and this combatant combination is one heck of a bother, with more than enough juice in them to fill a porthole. So, here's the ticket. If I ask him to back down, it'll be bad for business, but if you can stop this fight happening, allowing me to save face, I'll forgive you the drinks. What do you say?
I guess I don't have a choice.
Not my problem and not for me to say. The one to talk to is the smaller of the three Thakola over there. Just don't point that fact out to him.
I'll be right back. The smaller of the three is a huge creature standing over 9 feet tall with rippling muscles that support its massive frame. It seems to be engaged in conversation with two similar creatures next to it, both, somehow, even more imposing.
Greetings.
The great brute looks down at you and gives you a friendly smile.
What you want, Smalley?
I just came over to make conversation.
Oh, that's nice. You seem friendly.
Well, there's a first.
The creature smacks himself in the chest with a thunderous blow.
Thorpe!
He then raises his arms and shakes his fists at the ceiling, which hangs barely a foot above his head.
Mighty warrior is Thorpe. All Thakola are mighty warriors.
He places his fists on his hips and glares at you.
Who are you?
Actually, I don't remember my name. He nods at you thoughtfully as he examines your scars.
Well, you got mighty scars. You must be a great warrior. Like Thorpe.
He frowns sagely and scratches his chin.
You got hit on head too many times. Not remember name. Someday it come back.
I sure hope so. Say, what are you doing here?
Well, Thorpe here with friends. We gonna bash a flying lizard.
A flying lizard. He nods his head, then begins to make crawling motions.
A lizard, you know, but it fly.
You mean a dragon?
Well, Thorpe good, but he not that good. Some days, Thorpe want to bash dragon.
He stares off into the distance with a longing expression, then sighs.
But this not that day. Thorpe not remember what Xanthia call it. It lizard, tall as Thorpe, walk on back legs, got wings, got claws, red in colour. I think she say they called Abby Shy?
Oh, I've heard of something called an Abishai. Is that what you mean?
Yes, Abishai, flying lizard. Thorpe bash real good. Thorpe be warrior of stature then. Xanthia accept apology.
So, fighting this Abishai is supposed to give you stature?
Will Xanthia say so? Thorpe not know.
I see. I say, what can you tell me about this place, Thorpe?
Thorpe not know. Thorpe new here. Thorpe just here for fun.
Well, yeah. You're going to barsh an Abishai.
You got that right. Thorpe and friends barsh.
Thorpe, look. I'm sure you know already, but I've recently learned that Abishai can only be hurt by magic weapons. He gives you a worried look.
Well, need magic? How you know?
Well, actually, I talked to Xanthia. She told me.
Xanthia? Xanthia play Thorpe for a coney? She lie. Try to get Thorpe and friends dead.
I'm afraid so, Thorpe.
Well, Xanthia not deserve apology. Thorpe free from debt to her.
It seems that way to me.
Thorpe, thank you. You save life. You save life of friends.
He turns to the other Thakola and speaks to them hurriedly. After a moment, all three bow to you, and each hands you a pouch of coins. Thank you. He gives you a surprisingly warm smile.
You good friend. You deserve.
Take care of yourself, Thorpe.
You too, Smalley.
The now disappointed crowd boos and jeers as Thorpe and his friends slide their large table back into the center of the space.
No fight. Thorpe, no apologize.
No, folks, calm down. Hey, I was about a tails race. Fastest down the hatch gets there. Next ale free.
Xanthia, her face filled with hatred, storms over to you and grabs you by the chin.
You warned the brute, didn't you?
I did what I felt was right. Get your hands off me.
I will not forget this insult. Good evening, sir.
Good work, Carter. Tab is clear, but if you want the rooms, you still gotta pay. Fair enough. Splendid. You hand him a few of the silver coins the Thakola had just given you, and Giltspur returns with 3 keys, each attached to a miniature iron pony.
Rooms are upstairs on your left, food is not included, and you have to be out by peak, the latest.
Thanks. Upstairs, the tone is considerably more peaceful. The small common area, dimly lit by glowing fat candles, fans into several small adjoining rooms. Seated at one of the worn couches in the center is a Githzerai man sipping on a glass of dark liquor. His gaunt yellow features are covered with scars. Multiple tattoos adorn his face and limbs, and a long blade rests in its sheath beside him. As he notices Dakon, he rises from his seat. Greetings. The Githzerai ignores you, staring into Dakon's coal-like eyes. After a moment, he utters several clipped words in the Gith tongue, and if you understand the inflections correctly, he just said,
Try Revrikal, all beholden Zerth. Dirak you try.
Dakon replies in the same tongue. The sentence structure is odd, but you think it translates to,
This one is numbered among the faithful.
Everything all right, Dakon? The Githzerai turns to you as you speak, then turns back to Dakon and speaks again, this time at great length.
Zan Dakon ni Githzerai, and Kivrakla.
You have difficulty deciphering it all, but you make out,
There is one by Dakon's name, who is not one of the people.
It is said that his mind is divided. It is said that he is a Zerth that does not know the words of Zerthamon. This one is numbered among the faithful.
Dakon falls silent, as if to give the words time to sink in.
The one beside me speaks. Will you hear him? Zerth, Yurevri Rakvash.
The Gith's response is so quick it almost has the force of an attack behind it.
Zerth, do you obey the words of this human?
You're not certain if you got the entire meaning, but it seems the Gith just issued some sort of challenge to Dakon in the form of a question.
T'Char's choice has become mine. This matter carries the stink of the illithid about it.
His eyes flicker across Dakon's face.
I see no chains upon you. You speak your mind. How did this blasphemy come to be? The chains are my own.
His skin seems to take on an ashen shade as he speaks. It sounds like every word is slowly killing him.
An arc of 100 years. There is no hourglass that can measure the tale. The matter is as twisted as Freehe's roots. Its resolution is one of impossibility and may never come. The one beside me speaks. Will you hear him?
The Gith does not look at you. His attention is focused on Dakon.
His words are known to me, Zerth. His actions are not. His shadow speaks of one who has seen combat and bested all that stood against him. Do my eyes fail to see beyond the still circle? Your question flies true. It is my will that you know we walk the same path. Will you hear him? I will hear him, Zerth.
Dakon turns to you and speaks again in common.
He will hear you.
Okay. If you could ask
Your
him
words are known to me. Face me and speak your mind. I will hear you.
Very well. Who are you?
Hatchilai drowning.
He seems impatient with the question.
I am Hail Sien, a soldier of the Gethzerai.
I see. A soldier. Is that how you got your scars? His face contorts into a grim smile, and he places a hand upon your shoulder, then raises his arms and holds them to his face, then his chest. What did I say? Dakon smiles.
It is a sign of honor to ask of one's scars. It shows respect for one's history. The scars that bedeck my face come from the encounters in the halls of Ilsenstein. My Rakma band was nearly devoured by cowardly illithids. The scar upon my upper torso comes from the weak-driven blade of a Githyanki kinstealer. Speak the history of your scars.
They have come from so many battles the tale would be too long in the telling. He bows his head.
Your prowess is noted, Swordringer.
I must add, in truth, I do not recall how I earned most of them. His expression alters slightly. Whether in confusion or contempt, you cannot tell.
How can scars not tell stories of how they came to be?
I have lost the memory of their past, and my past as well.
T'Char's lament, then. I mourn your loss of mind and history.
What about your tattoos?
They speak of the history of my kin, and grant me their strength and minds. One, etched by Azurok of the Isle of Seal, tells of my kin Jilikai, who buried his enemies in the walls of Shark Lower. Another, here, was inscribed by Fel, the Dabas who walks, and tells of the Battle of Roji and myself as we fought 7 Sladi in the plains of Limbo before the 8th silenced Roji's mind. Now, tell me of yours.
All were inked before I lost my memory. The ones on my back are a past warning to myself. The symbol upon my shoulder is apparently something called the Mark of Torment. The rest, I do not know.
You should consider them. Some may speak of the obstacles you have overcome. Others, what you may have once hoped to achieve. Perhaps they might reveal tales of your past.
Perhaps. You spoke of Fel.
The Dabus who walks is a master of the craft. Some tattoos tell tales. Others tell of the spirit. The tattoos that Fel inscribes upon the skin lend strength of the body and strength of the mind based on the tale.
What kind of strength?
The tattoo of Roji, he who spilled the life of Seven Slati, gives me strength in my limbs when I am faced by overwhelming odds. The strength lent would depend on the experience. Tell Fel your tales, and the tattoos will grant their power when the tale is placed upon the flesh. I would offer to accompany you on the experience. It is quite unique. But I have a duty to my people.
What is that duty?
I am here to gather supplies and summon reinforcements. The Githyanki grow bold these days. We prepare for bloody war. Besides, I am eager to leave this place. I have discovered that this city is like Tregor's gem, oft praised but little of value to be found. The air is poor for one of the people, and those within it do not know themselves. They are empty shells. And the directions in this city are like following the ravings of an anarch who does not know himself.
Fair enough. Well, I'll leave you to it. Good night.
Yes, it is a good night.
Settling down, the four of you head to your rooms, Anna and Dakon each to their own, with Mort resting in yours. But this night, as with many before, brings little rest to your uneasy mind. Hours go by as thoughts revolve around the many unanswered questions of your past. Stepping into the common room, you slump onto a couch and gaze as the dim candlelight plays about the scars across your limbs. Some you recognize from mere days ago, the gash upon your wrist from the blade of the one-eared tiefling, the wound in your thigh from the thugs in the hive, the still swollen tooth marks in your abdomen from earlier this very day, and the countless weave crisscrossed beneath, a patchwork of brambles grasping your skin. Buried under the layers of scar tissue are numerous faded tattoos. It is hard to make out most, but a few are left unmarred. Barbed briars that twist about your forearm, curling into gnarled and knotted roots. Swirling images, like contorted faces inked in deep rich black, circle your upper chest. This mark of torment upon your left shoulder. A cruel symbol, like a blade set to cause more harm to one who would grasp it than any they might oppose. Just looking at it twinges upon something deep within, and you wonder what spurred you to choose such a thing. Day 10. Hour 4 after Annie-Peak. I retrieved the bronze sphere for Farad, but learned little from him that I didn't already know. He claimed I came to him asking for a boon, a truce, a courtesy from his collectors. But that was all. He then sent his daughter, Anna, to show me where she'd found my body before it was taken to the mortuary. I don't know what I'd hoped to find there, but I am no closer to understanding who I was or how I came to be like this. What was that? You rise to your feet as you hear a noise from within your room. Trying to listen, You creep towards the door and hear the sudden scuffle of moving furniture and the crack of splintered wood. Mort! Bursting into the room, you look upon the wreckage within. Shattered glass litters the floor, and strips of cloth flutter from the shards of the window frame. You lunge forward, craning through the opening, and see two blurry figures dash into the fog.
Stop!
You turn. There's no way you can catch them running through the building. Reeling round, you prepare yourself to jump. But your limbs don't move. Something locks your joints. A cold grasp creeps through your body, freezing your blood. And like a reaching arm, a swirling mass of shadow forms before you. It touches your skin, and inky tendrils of darkness elongate into claws that pierce into your lungs. You cannot breathe. Pain racks your body as if every ancient scar had split anew.
Thank you for listening to Planescape Torment, the unofficial audio series, a RevocerGM production. To support the show and those involved, please consider subscribing to our Patreon or donating via our Ko-fi page. Links to both are in the description.